Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 107 of the Gaming Duo podcast. I'm your host for this week, Rob Garcia, and I'm joined by my co-host, Kelvin Lund. How you doing, Kelv?
What's up, man? I'm just posting on Twitter real quick.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I got to post it. So if you guys are listening, follow us on your socials because we're posting on them right now. But we just had a super exciting thing happen. The Nintendo Direct, the first one of 2023, just happened. So I don't know about you, man, but there was a lot that went on. Are you pumped still from it? Are you still hyped?
Yeah, man, it was fun. It was a good time to be a Nintendo fan. So yeah, it was good. It was good. We'll talk more about it once we get to that topic. But for sure, it was much needed for Nintendo. That's for sure.
100%. Like we needed something. There was just static noise, or there was just nothing. Surveillance, radio silence. There we go. That's what I was trying to look for. But before we get into news, tell me about your week, Kel. Tell me about what you're playing. Anything interesting?
So I'm getting into Hogwarts Legacy because that's the thing. So apparently, obviously, and I'll probably talk about it a little bit later, but I've not been in the ecosystem when it comes to Hogwarts Legacy. When it comes to Harry Potter, I just never been really a fan of it. But this game and I posted on my Twitter account as well. This game has really made me dive into that world, and I want to continue being in that world. I want to stay there. I want to see what's going on, like improve my character and just see where the world and the story takes me. And so I'm hyped, man. I haven't played that much of it, but from what I've played so far, it is really cool. Everything from the universe, from just the beautiful graphics that they managed to pull off in that game. Everything looks spot on, and it feels like a Harry Potter-ass game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of it, right? There are people who are not fans. There are people who are fair weather fans. There are people that are fans of the series, but not necessarily play video games, right? So I saw people on like Twitter and Facebook, like people that are not gamers are playing this game, which is wild to me, right?
People that are not gamers or fans
people that are fans of Harry Potter, but they're not gamers, and they're playing this game. Yeah, which is really awesome to see. I feel like it's really tough to get people to do both, and this game is just everyone's excited. Everyone's excited about this game, and I'm happy for people to be able to experience the Harry Potter universe, because I feel like sometimes they're like, it's just Harry Potter, who cares, whatever, it's weird. But you're seeing it now because this was a good entry point.
I'm saying it. Yeah, it's definitely a game that I want to keep continuing exploring, and we'll see. I haven't played too much of it, and again, we'll talk about it in the news, but I think from what I've played so far, it's going to be something special. And from what everyone's saying, it's a great game.
100%. And if you guys are new to the show, we are the podcast that brings you the latest gaming news, and we have profound discussions about said gaming news. Kelv, if there's anything a word of advice to give our listeners, what would you say? Just like super random.
A word of advice for
for our listeners. Yeah,
don't be an asshole.
That's a good one.
Guess.
I like that. I like
don't
that.
be an asshole. Be good to people. That's all.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about. We are going to talk about Harry Potter some more in our news. We're also going to be talking about Nintendo Direct. But before we do that, we actually just beat a game. Both of us.
Did we?
Which is rare.
Yes. High five, baby. Let's go.
It is rare that you and me beat a game very close to each other.
So, I'm surprised you didn't beat that game like the next day.
It's because Dead Space came out. That's why.
Oh, gotcha. Which you still haven't beat, right? You still haven't beat that game.
I'm chapter 8, chapter 9, okay. I think. So I'm getting there.
Okay. So I want to hear your overall thoughts on Hi-Fi. I know we talked about this last week, but just to finish off the topic of Hi-Fi, what was
Put a bow on it.
Put a bow on it. What was your thoughts on the ending and just beating the game from beginning to end?
Fantastic game. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, even 9.5 out of 10. It came and it went, and overall, just a fun game. Just a game that you could just go into, have fun. The story is not overly doesn't outstay its welcome. The game plays fast and fluid. They did a smart choice where you didn't have to be basically like you didn't really know about rhythm. Like you could be tone deaf and you can still have fun with this game, which
Yeah,
is a
dude.
good job. They made it so there was an entry point to where like if you did enjoy the rhythm aspect, you're really gonna enjoy this. But even if you didn't, you still kind of enjoyed this game. So
And I fall in the middle of that, right? Because I don't play rhythm games, and
right,
then
right, right.
this game holds your hand in that sense of like, okay, we understand that you don't play rhythm games. It's okay to mess up. It's okay that you're not going to get every single like
Yes.
beat down to the core, but try. And if you do it, great. If you don't, it's okay. We're going to continue to progress through the story for you, and that's what I love about the game. It's like it holds your hand to a point, but it doesn't overly hold your hand. It's still, there are some elements that are a little difficult, and if you do want to take the time to like understand the fighting mechanics in the game, you'll get rewarded because there is a deep layer of mechanics involved when it comes to the gameplay.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, especially with the block mechanic. I think that one was a little harder for people. Like you had a block on beat. But when you got it, it was extremely satisfying because like do like it felt so nice. Sorry Yoshi that you tried it, you enjoyed, but you haven't finished it. So I thought you did enjoy it. That's why I read it, but you did enjoy it, but you haven't finished. Yeah, finish it. Great game. It's a breath of fresh air, in my opinion. It was in a world where we had all of these open world giant games that feel like they're endless sometimes, and a lot of these remakes that are coming out. This was something fresh and new, and that's what I love it for. I love that it was just like this fresh, this like, here you go, guys, enjoy this. And I love that it was shadow dropped. I have to say that.
Just shadow drop.
Just
But
shadow.
the ending though, the last few minutes or the last hour of that game, really, it just brought that game from like, I love this game to like, holy shit, I really love this game because it is like just so well put together. The music, the everything
Characters.
about it, the characters, the involvement of them, just kind of like tag teaming and helping you out throughout the game, really elevates that game to another level for me. Where I'm just like, wow, this is like a special game. Like this is like a fun, like it's not just fun anymore. It's not just a fun game for me. It's like I really want more of this. Like I want them to make more of this, whether it be a sequel, whether it be anime adaptation. Like I want more of this content. So
Well, there's not for spoilers, but there might be a part two. We don't know. They left it kind of open ended for the game, but in my opinion, loved it. Pick it up. Like even if you're not the biggest rhythm person, even if you're not a biggest, it is just a fun ride. That's the best way I can describe it.
yeah,
So
100%. Man, I love that game, man. So shout outs to the Tango Gaming Works that made
you
this
guys
game.
did good work there.
Fantastic job. So yeah, man, I can't wait. A little bit more into the Dead Space scene. Like you've been playing it, you've been live streaming it as well, right?
Yeah, I have been. Yeah.
So what are your not final thoughts because you haven't beat the game yet, but what are you thinking about so far? Like, are you enjoying it to the point where like you used to enjoy it, like how you used to back in the day when the OG one, or what do you think?
Let's rewind 1 second back to
Yeah.
Hi-Fi. One last thing about Hi-Fi, and I think it's important to say this:
Sorry.
is
Yeah.
do we think this game has a chance at Game of the Year?
Mm.
And I'm saying that because it's a fantastic game, amazing game, but because it's so early January and we have a stacked lineup coming down the line, right? We have Tears of the Kingdom coming down. We have possibly Spider-Man 2. We have a lot of these things, Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
So 16, 15, 16, 16, 16. Yeah. So is there a chance it could win Game of the Year, or you don't think Game of the Year, or at least in its genre?
In its genre, 1000%.
Okay.
Game of the Year? No, I don't think so. It like you said, it is too early in the game for this game to be remembered. It will be remembered, but with the amount of games that are coming out, I feel like it's just going to get swept under the rug in some sense. I think people are still going to remember this game come December, but I think there's just going to be a lot of AAA, big budget, like really anticipated games that are coming out this year. Spider-Man comes to mind, like real quick, that are just going to be overshadowing this game, unfortunately. But that's not to say it's not going to get its awards. It's going to get its respect. I feel like it will get its respect, just not in the Game of the Year category.
It could, honestly, I think it could make a sneak approach like, what was that game called? It Takes Two. I feel like It Takes Two took
Takes Two was different though. Take Two, if you look at that year, it was a very light year.
Okay, so you're saying
it had a nice what it was up against. It was not to say it didn't earn it, but it didn't have those crazy. It didn't have the Elden Rings. It didn't have God of Wars. Like it wasn't like stacked. I can find out, but it wasn't anything like holy shit, dude.
Okay,
so yeah.
Well, this game deserves a game of the year for sure. Like it is, I think it's worth putting it in that conversation. I think, as of right now, but yeah, that's all I have to say about freaking Hi-Fi Rush. Go play it. It's amazing. Dead Space, like you said, Dead Space.
Yeah.
Great game. Obviously, I'm having a great time playing it. It's still scaring me. 10 years later, however long it's been, it's still scaring me. It still gives me the pop-ups. But I don't necessarily think this game needed a remake. And it's not a remake. It's not. It's a remaster.
Okay. Okay, even though it says remake? Okay.
Even though it says remake, I think it's a remaster. It came out for 360, Xbox 360. I still kind of remember the game just like this. There's some stuff I'm like, that's new. That was different. It looks beautiful. Even the game shines the most in space. Oh my God. When you do the space stuff, it's mind blowing. Like the sound, just like you just feel alone. That is where the strong suit is with this remake is the space stuff. If anything, yeah.
On your live streams, again, if you guys haven't watched Rob's live streams, he has like 3 or 4 parts right now. Go check it out. It's really cool. I've noticed that there are certain things in the game that were not originally in the OG, right? So how much of that is new and how much of that is like, oh, I remember this, and like how much of that is like I've never seen this before?
I couldn't tell you because I don't remember anything from the first game. So it's all new to me again. So I will say this: is this worth a pickup? If you played the original, I'm gonna go ahead and say yes, because it's nice to kind of go back and just kind of be like, why was this game so good? Why did we finally remember Dead Space so much? And you go back and tell you like, this is why. And you can actually see it here, how it influenced a lot of the games that are coming out now in that genre, right? We see the Resident Evil 2s, we see Resident Evil 3 with a third person. It's very similar. I'm appreciate if you've never played Dead Space before, get this remake. Easy. That's an easy decision. If you're not the biggest fan of scary games, or you don't need to get it killed, I honestly don't think you necessarily need to get Dead Space right now.
That's why I held off.
You don't need to get it. Yeah.
Because of all these games coming out. I think it'd be a really good game to pick up. Maybe when it comes closer to like Halloween and I just want something like to like just feel that kind of like spooky kind of scene and stuff like that. I think that would be a good time to pick it up. I mean, I talk a lot, right? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get this game, but I don't end up getting a lot of the games. I do want this game. I definitely want to play this game. And part of the fact that I haven't really watched all of your streams entirely is because I want to experience it for myself to see, okay, I remember this and I remember that. And so that's why I'm holding off on it. But I will get this game at some point for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think everyone should at least experience it. It's a good game. Get it on sale if you can when it comes out. Is it worth the $60 or however much I spent? I actually did a hack. I'm going to tell you the guys that. The hack was EA Play Pro has it on there, and it's $15 a month, right? It's a secret. So if you want to play the game for $15, get EA Play Pro, cancel your subscription. You just have to beat it in a month. And I will say the launcher for EA Pro Play is Garbo. It is not good. It is just my shit's freezing all the time. So I guess I get what I paid for, right? But that is the cheapest way if you want to play it right now. You should do it there. So,
real quick, going back to It Takes Two, the nominees for 2021, right?
Okay.
Just real quick. Resident Evil Village. Okay. Psychonauts 2, Metroid Dread, Deathloop, Ratchet and Clank. That's not right. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. That's not right. I don't know why. That's it.
Well, that's weird. No, you don't have the list, do you? Huh?
Yeah. This is not the right list because it's giving me games that are like coming out like right now. But yeah. So just overall, the games for 2021 were not all that spectacular for It Takes Two not to win it again the year. So there's that.
So with that, you're also playing. You just play High Five. What else are you playing? You're not playing Dead Space. Are you playing anything else right now? You are playing something else. No, that's it.
Am I? I am.
Harry
But
Potter, Harry
I'll
Potter.
hold off on that. Yeah.
Hogwarts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you pick a class yet?
No, I haven't gotten that far.
Okay. All right. Let me know what class you. I'm gonna guess the class you're gonna be in, and I'm gonna say Gryffindor.
Okay. I already know what I think I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
So I'll keep it at that.
Do you know which one I am?
No, I have no idea.
I won't. Let's reveal it after you.
Okay.
Do it.
I just want to know what chat thinks of the Hogwarts game. Are you guys gonna get it? Are you guys gonna check it out at some point, or what do you guys think about it? Because I'm really interested to see the talk behind this game. Because again, like you were saying, a lot of people that aren't gaming fans at all are picking up this game because it is that important to them. And then people like me, where I haven't touched or know anything about Hogwarts or Harry Potter, I bought this game. So there's something about this game that's really interesting, and I want to know what you guys think.
Do you want to know something crazy? And this is the last thing I'll say about Hogwarts Legacy before we move on to news and stuff like that. The game's not technically out yet.
Right.
It's only through pre-order right now. People are playing it through, if you pre-order the deluxe edition. I think tomorrow? No, the 10th.
Really?
So Friday. So this game is the most like viewed game or streamed game on Twitch. It like broke the record. It's not even out yet.
Like officially.
It's not even out officially. Like if you want to play it early, you have to pay $80.
Wow.
Which is insane. Think about that. Like most people don't actually have this game yet. And it's already breaking records and stuff like that. Like it's a pretty big deal of a game, man. So we'll talk more about that later. But before we get into news, we gotta talk about The Last of Us, Kelf.
Shit, you're right.
We gotta talk about Last of Us, you know? So usually in this section, guys, there are gonna be spoilers. So if you have not watched the episode, please skip ahead or just say la 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 while we
don't
talk
leave,
about this. Don't leave. Don't stay here.
Stay here.
Pause mute
it.
us.
No,
just mute us.
Yeah, you can pause it or mute it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Episode 4. What'd you think?
It was great.
Okay.
But not as great as the other 3. Nothing crazy, nothing bad about it, right?
Okay.
I just think that with the amount of great moments that we got from 1 through 3, 4 felt a little lackluster in that aspect. It felt a little bit more safe than the other episodes, like even more than 1. But I love the dynamic that we got to see between Ellie and Joel, because this is the first time you get to see them really interact with each other as just people, you know? Before, the previous episodes are more just like, they don't even really talk to each other that much. They don't really have a decent conversation, especially Joel. Joel doesn't really interact because he's just really closed off, right? This is a time where you see Joel really express himself, really kind of show Ellie that he has another side to him. And I love when Ellie is doing the joke books and Joel has that, like they're laying down and he
has a
cracks
smirk
up and he starts laughing.
Yeah, he starts laughing.
He starts laughing. Loved it. It was great. It felt like really wholesome. It felt like really natural. Yeah, everything so far is great. I love the new characters that they've introduced in this game. Again, this show that they haven't really shown in the game. Like this is not part of the game per se.
Right.
I forget their names. And so they're adding a new layer to this, a new dynamic, which is really interesting. So overall, right now, it was cool. I give it like a solid 8. Nothing really like
crazy happened this episode.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, cool. And then the big scene, right, which was when you got, well, yes, but the scene where you see that guy kind of like 1-to-1 from like the game where the guy like pretend like he's getting hurt, he's hurt,
right?
And then Joel's like, he's not even hurt.
Yeah,
he didn't say that though. It just pissed that kind of annoyed me. I was like, he should have said that part in the game, you know, but he didn't. So
yeah, I think this episode, I mean, no matter what they would have came out with, it was very extremely hard to top off the previous episode just because of how impactful the episode was, how emotional charged that was. This did a great job at showing Joel's and Ellie's relationship start to foster. Right, it's starting to grow. It's starting to actually what it is in the game. right? Before we didn't really get any of that. You know what I mean? So I know a lot of you in the chat haven't really watched it. I know Jeff, you're meeting us, and I'll wave once we're done talk about it. But yeah, I'm not going to try and spoil too much, just because it's a pretty, I don't want to say it's a lackluster episode. It is an episode that helps progress the story, and there's important elements to this episode to build upon. It's not just like nothing crazy happens. There's no like, beautiful, arc of two beautiful souls, and it's nothing like that. But it's an episode that needed to happen to progress the story.
And to progress Ellie and Joel as like characters, So
exactly.
Yeah. Great episode. Episode this is episode 5, right? It's coming out.
Oh yeah, so that's a good thing. A good point, Kelv. Episode 5 will be airing Friday.
Yep, because of the Super Bowl Sunday.
So, yes, smart.
Yes, that's going to be an interesting episode. I think that's going to be cool because for those that do know, there's going to be a new enemy shown, which is the bloaters. So you'll see who they are and what they are, and interesting to see how they look on the screen. So yeah, excited for that. And I'm just excited to see more of how Joe and Ellie progress. And yeah, so far they're killing it. So far, I'm enjoying it. Alaris is enjoying it as well. They're like, it's a really fun time to sit down and watch this show and dissect things. It's cool.
Yeah, I just was asking me, so like, when is Last of Us coming on? I want to watch another episode. So I'm just like, Yep, they did a good job. I know they did a good job if they hooked people that are onto the show into the game.
I'm surprised chat isn't as hooked as we are. A lot of people, Chazzy, he stopped at episode, was it 1 or episode 2?
Two, yeah.
We have Yoshi T that doesn't, like, he watched it, but he's not really like fully invested. It looks like he hasn't watched since episode 1. I'm surprised that that's the case. Is it because you guys aren't really, like, you guys didn't play the actual games? Are you guys just not interested in the whole, I know Chazzy's kind of point of view on this, but is it because you're just not really interested in the whole, zombie era, zombie apocalypse type of thing? Like, I'm really interested to see what people think about that, but we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. So one person said they didn't play the game, so that makes a lot of sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I think though, as far as like a zombie apocalypse thing, I think that almost takes like a back seat with The Last of Us, at least in the show. Like, that's not necessarily all it's about. It wasn't like it's almost taking like a Walking Dead approach to things, but it was like peak Walking Dead. Not like garbage.
Modern Walking
Dead. Not
way better. Yeah, I think. Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. 100%.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right. So let us get into the news of the week.
Week. Sorry.
We have. Oh, let's wait for Jeff because he. Hey Jeff, we're done.
The spoilers.
Take the spoilers. Yeah, take spoilers. Nintendo dropped a direct today. Me and Kelvin live streamed it, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. There was things we expected. There's things we didn't expect. Overall, pretty solid performance by Nintendo. Let's roll through what we saw. First thing they started off with was a Pikmin trailer with gameplay. Kelvin, I don't know if you want to go ahead and try and boot that guy up so we can have the thing. Bro. Thank you, sir. You are so great. So we have it playing in the background. At first, when you first look at this, we thought it was like a Mario Odyssey game because there's something in the spaceship, 100%. But no, they actually came through, showed Pikmin 4, and it is going to be coming, I think, I don't remember the date. Remember the date? What's coming out?
Negative.
Okay,
no.
We'll tell you in a bit. It'll tell us in the trailer. But what's interesting about this version of Pikmin is that there are new elemental Pikmin, which is interesting. They have an ice elemental. There's, I believe, I don't think there was an ice one in the original. I know there's a fire one.
I don't think so, no.
But there's a new Pikmin, which is ice. I'm going to be honest. I am not the biggest Pikmin fan. Never really played the game, so it's hard for me to speak to it as far as the actual game itself. I know you as well, Kelvin, right? That you aren't really into Pikmin as much, right?
No, not at all.
And why is that? Is there a particular reason why looking at this?
I think I mentioned it in the stream too. I'm like, what is the objective here? It looks great. It looks gorgeous. Like, it looks like, I don't know. It looks like, 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 it looks like if I'm playing, if what comes to mind right now, and stick with me, like Little Big Planet, like how like the beauty of Little Big Planet when it comes to like the
Yep, this
background
is a
and
new
just
ice
kind of like
Pikmin.
being
That's
small.
yeah.
That is what brings me to my like brings this game to my attention. But what is the point of this? I don't know. And I'm not even being like asshole. I
Facetious.
just don't
Yeah,
know
yeah, yeah.
what it's facetious. Yeah, I don't know what the lore of this is, what the point of what am I doing. I'm sure if I play the game I would understand, but this is random. There's a dog.
I think that's like a new companion that you have close to your Pikmin. Looks like you can actually control him a little bit. Yeah, look at that.
Like
So
everything in chat now, chat is popping off. Like people really do enjoy Pikmin. Like I know it's a popular series for a very niche group, but for me it just doesn't really do much, you know.
yeah, so I mean, right off the jump there with the Nintendo Direct, the fact that they showed Pikmin 4 automatically, like everyone's like, "Oh yeah, let's go!" Just set
Yeah.
the tone. So you're like, "All right, this is going to be a good 40 minutes, right?"
Right.
And just like Nintendo fashion, they kind of went through pretty quickly with everything. Like I said, I don't want to just continue playing this trailer, but we can go into Xenoblade 3. Volume 3 and 4 for the DLC is coming out, right? I think we have the trailer in there too, but there is a video in the trailer. They had an adult Shulk and an adult Rex fighting some bad guy, which was freaking sick.
I'll move up.
It was at 45 seconds in, I think it showed it.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to pull it up here and you actually see them, because I didn't know at first. I didn't realize at first because I don't play Xenoblade like that. But I'm like, wait, you showed me a pic on Twitter. You were like, wait, that's Rex. I
Yeah.
was like, what? So they are going hard with, see, that's Shulk and that's Rex right there. Yep. How this makes me want to play it.
I mean, I love that they did that. I love that they kind of brought they kind of fast forward time and they made them aged a little bit more. It looks interesting. It looks like something story wise. I'm all about it. Like that looks really cool, right? Gameplay wise, I gotta really see because I remember I bought Xenoblade 2, and I played like 15 minutes of it. I still have it on my Switch, and I have not touched it since because I don't know what it was. It just felt like it just wasn't for me at the time. Maybe if I go back to it, right, like Hades, and I'll play it again, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. I love it. But as of right now, I don't have the time or care to like go back. But this is interesting. Like I love what they've done to. Again, I mentioned in the stream, like Nintendo really kind of honing in on the expansion packs and DLC and stuff. So that's really cool that they're doing this for almost every title.
Yeah, I first off, can I borrow that game if you don't end up playing it?
I mean, the only way you can borrow it is to borrow my Switch or my account.
You don't have the oh, you don't do the physical copy. I thought you had the physical copy, man.
2023, bro. What do you mean?
Physical copy.
Who carries a physical copy at this day and age?
So you could be a good friend and carry, be able to, swap games with your friends, but it's fine.
I guess,
it's fine. It's fine.
We should do that though. Like we should like buy more physical copies and be like, hey, you want to borrow this? Sure.
Yeah, but then it's like I have to wait. like Hogwarts Legacy, I would have to wait, to play the game. So that's why. Do I need to play all through the Xenoblades to enjoy 3? Probably, you think? What are you thinking here?
I would assume so, especially how heavy story, like how story heavy it looks like the expansions are. I don't know if they really have to tie too much into the stories for the original, but I would assume so.
Okay, so right off the jump, we got some pretty big hitters. We got Xenoblade Chronicles 3 with some new DLC. Then they went pretty fast here. They started doing the Nintendo thing. We're just like, we're going to show you all these games that are coming out really quickly. So we got Shake It Amigo, which is a rhythm game. We got Fashion Dreamer, which was a fashion game. That's all you literally do is just do fashion. Dead Cells, which has a Return to Castlevania DLC. Tron Identity, Ghost Trick Detective, Deca Police. And then we get to Bayonetta Origins, which is another big hitter coming out. This is obviously a prequel to Bayonetta. But it's a different type of gameplay. It is not necessarily the fast-paced gameplay that we're normally used to in Bayonetta games, and the art style is way different. So I'm glad they actually showed more gameplay. of this game. Did this make you more pumped to want to get this?
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. Pikmin doesn't do it for me. But games like this, where it's very heavy on the art style, heavy on like just like go crazy, like this is just like weird, out of like this world type of stuff. Like I love this stuff, especially when you tie a game like Bayonetta and then just completely change it up, change the gameplay mechanics, change the art style, and just make something completely different out of it. Like that appeals to me. This is cool, and I don't even know what is happening honestly in this trailer right now, but it looks interesting, and I want to try it out.
I don't know what's happening in this trailer. That's funny. There's just a bunch of stuff happening. What makes you like this rather than the normal Bayonetta games? I know you're not really into the normal Bayonetta games as much, but what about this makes you like, I actually want to play this so bad compared to those games?
I think it's just the fact that it feels comfortable to play. Like it feels like a true Switch game that I really want to just like sit back, relax, and just take a couple hours and play this game on my Switch. Whereas if I play Bayonetta on my Switch, I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I'm having a heart attack or something at the same time. You know what I mean?
I'm
like,
having a heart attack. Okay.
I'm just, I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm just like, this feels comfortable. This feels right where it's supposed to be.
Okay. I mean, I feel the same way as far as for Bayonetta. Like I'm going to get this because I'm a big Bayonetta fan. I haven't played 3 yet because it's on my backlog. I will get to it, but it would be nice to see Bayonetta's story and paint in a different picture. So, that was awesome. We're getting a Splatoon 3 expansion pass. There's 2 waves of content called Inko
Palace.
Is that how you say it? I think that's
Inko Palace.
Okay. And side order. So I mean, we're not big Splatoon guys as well, but I mean, people that are fans should be pretty pumped about this. If I'm being honest, you know what I mean? Like, who's here is a Splatoon fan in the chat? I don't know who it is. I'm not, but I know people are. You just throw paint at people.
Yeah. I think it's it's another Pinkman situation. Pikmin, not Pinkman.
Pikmin. Jesse Pinkman.
Yeah, it's like a very niche title that people will like really. I mean, it's not really niche. It's a very popular title. What am I saying?
Yes.
But people that love that game, and people. It's like black and white. Either you love it or you don't like it. I don't think there's like really in between for some reason when it comes to Splatoon.
Yeah, so that was cool that they gave you that. So we're probably about midway into this direct. We're just showing like, okay, they're showing a lot of DLC at this point. They're not really showing anything new. We already knew a lot about this stuff, right? Then they started showing Illusion Island, which is the Mickey Mouse side scroller game, which was pretty cool looking.
Yes.
That one was fun. I think we also knew about that, though. I think that was announced at one point.
That was announced back in the Marvel showcase. Yeah, Disney Marvel showcase that they had back in.
Didn't you talk to Chazzy? Wasn't Chazzy a co-host that time?
That was the time when Chazzy came in. Shout out to Chazzy. He's in the chat right now. I think we brushed on that. I don't remember if we did or not, but that wasn't really the highlight. The highlight was like, all right, what is Marvel going to bring to the play? Is Kingdom Hearts going to be there? And is Kingdom Hearts going to show anything Marvel? That was like the big thing that we were talking about.
Fun fact about that episode when Chazzy was helping co-host was when I was listening to that episode, I was in Morocco driving through the desert in 110-degree weather with the AC not working that well, and we're like all smushed into a car. So I just want to let you know that was how I experienced your episode, was like just being completely miserable. And I think I had food poisoning too. So fun times.
Well, I hope our episode brought you a little bit more joy.
It did help me out a little bit. We also got Fire Emblem Engage DLC. Again, a lot of DLC happening. A lot of DLC.
Yeah, dude. And I have something to say about that. So remind me if I forget.
I will. I will. Octopath Traveler 2. We knew about this, but now there's a demo. They shadow dropped a demo, which is awesome, right? Cool. So I know there's a lot of Octopath Traveler fans. So go pick up the demo now.
They did that for the first one as well. That's how they introduced the game. So that's cool that they did that again.
We love Katamari, which is that roly-poly type game that I don't understand why people like it. It looks ridiculous, and I don't understand it, but it's coming out. Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. This is a big one for Advance War camp or Advanced War fans. You know, like
you told me that, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't know there were that many people that actually enjoyed Advance Wars like that.
So slowly now we're seeing there's everything, something for everyone in Direct at this point. Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe was then shown. So that's another Kirby game, like side-scrollers Kirby game. That's very reminiscent to me of the Crystal Shards, the way that one's played out, which is really cool. So that might have to be a pickup. And then we take a pause from the games. And we get on Nintendo Switch Online new information. And we're getting Game Boy games on the Nintendo Switch Online. So you can now play some Game Boy games.
Nice.
Yep. There was no Pokemon though, which I was surprised they didn't put any Pokemon, like Pokemon Red, Pokemon Yellow, Blue, Pokemon Yellow. They didn't do that, which was kind of a pain in the butt.
I didn't expect them to be there, to be honest, but I guess you did. I don't know. For me, I didn't think that would be there.
Yeah.
For some reason.
So we got Nintendo. We have the Game Boy games and the Game Boy Color games now on Nintendo Switch Online. But if you have Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass, you get access to Game Boy Advance games. So you get Super Mario 4 Advance, you get WarioWare, you get this game called Kuru, which I have no idea what the hell that is. You get the Mario Kart, and you also get Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, which was pretty big. And there's a bunch of other different ones coming out, like Metroid Fusion's coming out, Oracle of Ages for Legend of Zelda's coming out, and I think there's another big one, Golden Sun, I saw. So it's all available today. Like, they shadow dropped that shit too.
Yeah, dude. Wild. That was huge. That was one, again, like you said, one of the bigger moments in this Direct, which was crazy that they did that.
Yeah, so let's kind of talk about that before we move on to the next thing they showed, because this one was pretty big.
Yeah.
What do you think so far of the Virtual Console and how Nintendo does a Virtual Console right now?
I think it's great for people that are nostalgic for Nintendo. This includes me. I'm not trying to take myself out of the equation here, but I don't know if that's what everybody is looking for to and prove me wrong. If people are really into hey, I just want to play old titles on my Switch, by all means, that's great. But let me know if that's the case. For me, I don't think that's something that I really want to do. I don't want to play older titles on my Switch. Again, we've had this conversation before, Rob and I, where I'm just not the nostalgic guy where I want to play old titles every single time. But I know the Nintendo fan base, they love playing old shit. They buy shit all the time. Every Mario, they buy Mario 20 times, and it's fine. It's perfectly fine to do that, right? To me, it just, I'm like this. For a perfect example, I would play Pokemon trading card game because that is nostalgic for me, but I love that. I played that game for hours. That was awesome. But every single title that they showed here, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to really get into that, and is it really worth it? That's where my mindset is on that.
My thing too is I feel like people have emulated the living crap out of Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. That is the easiest thing to emulate. I was emulating these games 10 years ago on my piece of crap computer, and it took 2 and it was running fine. You know, I think I had these running on my Android, the first Droid, the first Droid phone. I'm pretty sure I had an emulation on this. So the fact that I was able to emulate this, and now it's they're just doing it. Don't get me wrong, it's appreciated. This is nice to have on there, right, available. And it's included in your membership. I'm not complaining, but I see what you're saying. Maybe this is not 100% what everyone wants. You know?
Yes. But you have Chazzy in the chat saying, I gotta agree. I gotta be honest. I'm that guy. I play old shit on my Switch more, specifically Mario stuff, over and over, and buy it several times. So yes, that is the direct target audience that I'm referring to. This is who they're talking to right now, and that's fine. You know, that's what they want. So for Chazzy, for other people that are really interested in things like that, this speaks to them, and this is really, really a big deal. You know.
Yeah, and that's it. They come off a new Zelda game. They come off not a new Zelda game, but a new port of an old Zelda game. The Wind Waker and Twilight Princess was missing here. A lot of people wanted those ported to the Switch, and they didn't do it. So I to me, I'm like, I would have bought that. I would have bought it. But
right.
Do you think we'll ever get a GameCube emulation?
I mean, they have to.
We're inching
Like,
closer to it.
at-
We're
at
inching
some
closer
point,
to
we're
it.
getting there, right? Like there has to be. So it's only a matter of time.
Yeah. So, and then Kelvin, the biggest, probably the biggest announcement of the show, Metroid Prime Remastered, was shadow dropped today.
Yes.
It's available
Today,
now,
bro. Today.
You can go download it right now. It's there.
Yep. It's
Kelvin has it right in the Switch right now. There it is.
Yep. Right there. Look at that beauty. $40, Rob. Not bad.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. I kind of wanted the physical edition because Samus just looks cool on the case and it's pretty dope. But you have to wait till February 22nd to get the physical edition, which is weird to me. That you have to wait that long.
Did that. Yeah. Why? What do you think that was the case? Like, what was the thought process behind that?
It could have been something with the shipping or whatever person they go to ship out the games. They might have been like, well, it won't be released till this time. So, but they're like, well, the direct is happening today. We want it available now. So maybe that's why they staggered it, because they wanted to be available directly after direct. It'd be hard to be like, it's available all stores right now. Go get it. So.
Well, fun fact, based off of rumors that I know, right? This game has been finalized, completed for quite some time now. Actually, when they kind of started remaking Metroid Prime 4, this game was already done. This remaster was already finished.
Right.
They waited for this to kind of, I guess, sither in the back, right? Until my guess is that they're ready to release Metroid Prime 4 at some point later next year, maybe, or they have some type of announcement that they want to show soon. Now it's ready for a release, and that's why they're showing us now.
So does this mean that we're getting Metroid Prime 2 remaster? Are we getting Metroid Prime 3 remasters? Are those coming?
Yes. If I'm a betting man, this is the phase 1, if you want to call it, right? This is the phase 1 until we get to phase 4, which is Metroid Prime 4. So we have this, then Metroid Prime 2 will happen at some point, right? And then you gotta think that's how they're going. That's how they're kind of like taking this approach, right?
I would think so, but at the same time, like, why wouldn't you do 1, 2, 3 all in one as a remaster? Because you said this game's done for a long time, maybe get people playing, but maybe they want to milk. I don't want to say they want to milk people, but they might.
They want to stagger it out a little bit. They want to make sure that people are still talking about Metroid for, until release of Metroid Prime 4. That's my guess, at least,
Yeah. Are you sad that they didn't show Metroid Prime 4 here?
No, I wasn't. I mean, so
this helps soften the blow. I know that, right?
Yes, for sure. Before the direct, I think Amazon removed the pre-orders for not just Metroid Prime 4, but for other games as well. And so that kind of hinted to me that, okay, something is happening in the Metroid era, Metroid scope here. And so I had some inkling that was going to happen, but obviously it didn't, which is fine. We got something Metroid, and that's what matters to me. And I know that was the first step of like actually getting Metroid Prime 4. Even if they didn't show it, even if they didn't even show a title, that was our hint that Metroid Prime 4 is coming.
So there's two things here before we move on from Metroid Prime. Mm-hmm. Is we know there's two games that they're working on, right?
Yep.
There's two games. We have Metroid Prime 4, but we also have the sequel to Dread that is being worked on as well.
Very true.
So we do have a lot of Metroid in our future right now. I think they're just starting to ramp up that this is coming. But yeah, guys, if you want to go pick that up today, it is available right now in the Nintendo eShop for $40. Physical copy 22nd. And last thing, there's also modern controls on this bad boy. No more weird. That was my number one complaint when I tried emulating it. Oh man, it was rough. Those controls were rough with the way they did it with the GameCube control with the C stick.
I don't remember how this game plays, so I'm gonna keep it that way. I'm just gonna play the modern game and enjoy that for what it is.
Okay, all right. After they showed Metroid Prime, they showed Baten Kaitos remastered as well. Or remake, I don't know, remastered. And this was a game that I played when I was younger. It was a weird game. It's a card builder game, but it was also a like Japanese RPG. Mm-hmm. And I am very shocked that they actually remastered this game. I really did think that this game was just forgotten about. No one remembered this game. No one really played this game, but look at that. There, literally, there it is in remaster. Will I get it? Probably, just to relive my childhood. There. Did you ever play Bane Katos? You never did, right?
I remember the name. You popped off a little bit when this came when they announced this. I remember the name somewhere. It's like in the back of my mind somewhere, but I don't remember the gameplay at all. This does not look familiar.
You know what it is? I think I played this game shortly after I beat Final Fantasy X on the PS2. And this kind of gave me like an inkling of that. Like, it gave me, I needed my fix of that, you know?
Right.
And this game came at a time where the Japanese RPGs were just running rampant. Like, there were so many of them, and this is again like Legaia 2, like all that kind of stuff. Literally, this is all around that same time. So, yes, I would say we're pretty. Kelvin, I think, is a bigger Metroid fan than I am. I still love the games, I enjoy them, but I think he's a bigger fan out of both of us, right, Kelv?
Yeah, I think what really drove me, and this is Yoshi T in the chat asking this question, but I think what really drove me to like love Metroid was Super Smash Brothers. Like, she's my main in Super Smash Brothers, right? And so as I got closer to her as my main, I started really wanting to play her games, which is the beauty of
Super Smash
Brothers. Yeah,
that's what it does. Yeah, Chazzy from the Side Project podcast says, I have no clue what this game is. And yes, most people don't have any clue what that game is. It's a very, very, very niche game, and it was only available for the GameCube. So if you didn't have a GameCube, you have no idea what the fuck it is.
See, that sparked another like something in my brain. I'm like, oh, I remember that was from the GameCube. You're right. So it's like in the back of my head somewhere that this game is stored somewhere in one of my like logs in the back of my head or something.
Yeah, if you Google the cover of it, it might trigger more memories of this.
Yeah,
because he's like this, and he has like the things. But it was. I think I got it because I saw it. I saw the cover, like, that looks cool, and I was like, what, 12, 13 at the time when it came out. So.
Right.
We got a new Professor Landon coming out. I know a lot of people are excited for that. Mario Pass, or Mario Kart Deluxe Pass. There's new tracks coming out. I think it's a Yoshi track. And then we rounded out the Direct. There's it right here. With The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Everyone knew it was coming. And let's just watch this trailer throughout the whole thing. What did you think of the trailer? What did you think of it? You know, we're live streaming this, and you're like, this is what they're going to end on. That's going to be it. And you were right. So,
yeah, this is what everyone is hoping for. It'll be. It looks bigger, better, and just this is what we want. You know, this is what Zelda fans are looking for. It's gonna exceed everyone's expectations from what it looks like, and they're hyping this up for a good reason. Like, this game looks cool. It's really interesting how they developed this trailer, because at some points I'm like, hang on, is that Ganon talking? Or hang on, is Link gonna talk in this game? It just felt like they were like hinting at that in some aspects, and maybe it was just me at the time, but what if they did that? Like, what if they just like threw in this bombshell, like you know how Gandorf is not Gandorf in the first one, right?
No.
So that's what if they do some weird shit like that, where this isn't like Link per se, and he's able to talk? I don't know. They do some crazy shit like that. But would you be like dissatisfied with that if Link had a voice in this one and they pulled it off though?
Yeah, I mean, as long as they pull it off, I think it's fine to break tradition. You know, to give Link a voice. I don't think they're gonna give. If they would have given him a voice, I think they would have shown it already. You know, I think that would have been a big thing.
This would have been the time to do it, right?
Yeah, it's already we're like 4 months out of it coming out, or 3 months out, and I think at this point they would have shown him having a voice. Like, this is crazy. Right now, I get to use vehicles, which is insane.
This looks ridiculous, dude.
This game obviously has another element, which is the sky. There's a lot of sky things going on up there. So we're getting Skyward Sword features here. And what do you think about this game surpassing Breath of the Wild? Do you think it's going to sell better? Do you think it's going to get better review grades? What do you think?
Yeah, this is going to... Okay, so all right, I'm gonna go on a little tangent here, but
Yeah. Well, people are saying don't voice. People say don't give Link a voice. Don't do it. Fine. Whatever. It's up in the world.
Before I answer your question, I wanna say what Chazzy wrote here. He said, "Bro, slap a tunic on half of my torso, spank me with a ocarina, right? I'm so ready for this game, and I'm so sad I'm going to be busy during the release. I just want to hide and play." A lot of people are hyped for this, and now that brings me to your question here. So, I think this is not going to be the God of War thing that I talked about when God of War Ragnarok came out, where it's like it's gonna still sell well, but it's not going to like exceed the first.
Exactly. It's a continuation.
I don't think this is going to be that. I don't think. I think it'll be more so of like Nintendo knows that this is a major IP. Nintendo knows that this is going to be a shift in their new generation of games. And what I mean by that is I'm going to include the whole announcement of Tears of the Kingdom being $70, right? Why? Why is that? Why was this the game to have it be $70, right?
Fun fact is you could pre-order on GameStop for $59.99.
There you go. All right, look at that.
But regular price is $70.
$70.
Yes.
Why? Right? Why is that? Why is Tears of the Kingdom $70? Now, based off of this direct, right? We are noticing one major key fact about this whole entire thing. A lot of DLC, a lot of expansions, right? I think they're shifting, or they're kind of hinting that the next Switch console will be next year at some point. They're alluding to that because, yes, they showed a lot of games. Yes, they showed a lot of new games, but nothing that is really showing what Nintendo has. Like, what is Nintendo IP working on? We still don't know a lot of things. Pikmin, yes, Pikmin has to come out because for fuck's sake, that game has been like waiting for, like, it's been
literally forever.
Forever, right? But to have Tears of the Kingdom at $70 price point, people, they know you're gonna buy this game no matter what. It could be $100, you're gonna buy this fucking game, right? Great. What a great way to transition people to kind of like mold them and shape them to be like, okay, well, this is $70. This is the price I'm going to pay for this game. And then just kind of have them continue paying that price point to then move on to the next generation Switch Pro, whatever we want to call it. That's where I think it's alluding to, because from what we see in this direct, a lot of titles are a lot of things that they showed are just expansions. There's nothing like really solid here, especially like we talked about Metroid. Like, I feel like Metroid at this point, Metroid Prime 4 is going to be a Switch Pro title.
Yeah, Switch Pro title, release title, or something like that. And they're saying it's going to be backwards compatible with Switch games, the new Switch, whatever it's going to be. And you can play your Legend of Zelda on there. Hell, it might even come out like fall at this point, or maybe early next year. But they're definitely gearing up for this thing. They are going to be gearing up for the Switch Pro or Switch 2, whatever they're going to call it. I really thought they were going to come out with a new Switch. I really thought they were going to announce it with... But the thing that's crazy is that the way Zelda runs, it runs so well on Switch, which is wild to me, right? Like, how are they making it run that well?
I don't think it's wild at all. I think the Switch isn't... It's an old console, but it's not like...
ancient technology.
Outdated. It's not ancient technology.
People make it seem like it's ancient technology. You are 100% right. People are like, it's so bad. And it's just like, yes, it doesn't do 4K. Yes, it doesn't do 60 frames per second, but you don't need something that small to do that. You know?
No, you give it to the right people, the right devs. They know how to play. They know how to make that console work, you know? And so, yeah, that's what I think. I think they're just moving on towards that next generation, that next Switch Pro, because, I mean, why don't we have a Mario Kart 8? Oh, Mario Kart 9. They're just milking the shit, like Chazzy says, milking the shit out of Mario Kart 8, right? Mario Kart 9, I'm assuming would be
they're not gonna. It's not gonna
game,
switch,
right?
Yeah.
And I think they're doing that. And then, can you imagine seeing? I mean, they did this for the Switch, right? They announced Breath of the Wild, they announced Odyssey, and then they announced the Switch, and they're like, hey, it's coming out in 3 months. Enjoy it. It's coming out in March. I think they'll do something similar to that, where it's like, hey, you have Metroid Prime 4, we'll have like Mario Kart 9, and guess what? It's coming out in like 4 months. That, like, imagine if that's like your first title that you buy for the Switch Pro or some shit. Like, that's I can wild. See that happening. I can fucking see that happening.
It's interesting that they pick this title for the $70. Obviously, it makes sense because it's the biggest, arguably the biggest title Nintendo has, right? Is the Zelda, and people are going to pay for it, like you said. People
Right,
pay
right,
like
right.
$120. Again, the collector's edition went up at Best Buy and it was already sold out. Like you can't even buy it anymore.
Is it really? Yeah, I
Yeah,
figured.
I
Yeah.
tried getting it and it's sold out. But
What about the amiibo? Can you buy that?
I
Because
don't
the
know if it's
amiibo is
available
dope.
yet. Yeah, the email is really sick. But now are they going to charge every game coming out for Switch after Legend of Zelda on Switch for $70, or they can only command that price because it's Zelda? There has been the past where Nintendo games came out and they charged different prices depending on the game it was. Like I know they did it for N64 for some of the Legend of Zelda. I think Majora's Mask was like $60 compared to a game like Banjo-Kazooie was probably $50. So is this after Legend of Zelda? Are new Switch games going to be $70, or it's only going to be for that Switch game?
No, this is the standard for. It's already been the standard, right? We're paying $70 for PS5 games. We're paying $70 for Xbox games. Nintendo is just behind in everything, right? And so they're like, well, how do we transition to that, right? How do we make it worth their people's like money to do this, to go through this transition? Oh wait, we have Zelda. People will buy Zelda, so let's have that be our first entry point, and
Yep.
then we're like, hey guys, we did this already. We've done this before. We've done the $70 price point. We're just continuing on with that market
Yeah, and
segment.
there's nothing you can do about it. There's literally nothing. There's nothing you can do about fighting it. It's you can yell from all you want that this is ridiculous. You should not charge $70 for games anymore. It's like it's already happening. It's already done. Just accept it because it's the way it's going. And again, people said like in the chat, people were saying Yoshi saying I would pay $80 for Zelda and Mario. Yes, 100%. People would pay $80 for Zelda because we don't get them that often. They come so like here and there. It's not like Call of Duty where it comes out every fucking year and it's just so annoying. Go away. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
Back in the
I
day,
get it.
we would spend like $60 on titles, $70 on games, right? Like back in like it was a Nintendo 64 era, like we would spend that much money in that time, right? Inflation is just now starting to like catch up to video games.
You're getting more game if you think about it for the price you're paying for this
Yeah,
stuff. Like back then, you got Ocarina of Time and that was 50, $60.
yeah.
You bought Breath of Wild, that game was $50 and it was like a bajillion times the size of Ocarina of Time. So like, you know,
So I don't understand. A lot of people are like, "Oh, well, I mean, I get the complaint, like, oh, $70, that's too much for a game." Yes and no. I mean, I guess you can kind of like compare to you blue to the face, but back like you said, back then we were paying the same amount, and we were getting memory card games, like we were getting like
I'm saying.
hard, you know what I mean? Like this is nothing compared to that now. So
I think you really need to take it where, yes, games are expensive, but you need to be really selective about what games you do get, right? What game deserves your hard earned $70, right? And you can't just, I know, like you buy two games, you're already at $140. Like two games that get dropped in a month, like Dead Space and Hogwarts Legacy basically come out less than a month
right.
together. So you spent 70 on that, so 80 on Hogwarts Legacy. 80 freaking Hogwarts Legacy was $80. I just dropped it. I was just like, screw it, why not? But yeah, you just got to be a little more selective. And if the game deserves it, the game has to be deserving of that. It has to command that price point.
Yeah. And that's why it's so much harder for devs nowadays to like really give you that incentive of like, hey, this is, you deserve to play this game. Like you should play this game, and here's why. Now it's a lot more challenging, right? Like, okay, well, tell me why you deserve my money. Like, show me what I'm getting
Right.
my money's worth.
I think specific games, exactly. Zelda, worth the $70. That's worth it. I'm trying to think of a game off the top of my head. Callisto Protocol, maybe not really worth $70. Maybe it is. But
Some
that's
people it is.
get to question it. With Zelda, you're not questioning. So
Right.
that's pretty much it. We got Direct. No news on a new Nintendo Switch console. That's not coming yet, but I'm sure next Direct we might get something. So that was it for the Direct. Last thing we're gonna talk about is Harry Potter, Hogwarts Legacy. The reviews are coming in, and
I do that all the time with this game, dude.
it's funny because I just thought of my character. I sent Kelvin the picture of my. Oh, it's. Let me show the chat here. I think I could pull them up. Let me see if I have it. Oh
So
my God,
you try to make yourself, which fair enough. I did the same thing, right?
Yeah, I
But
try
my
to make it
guy
myself.
looks like he just slays. You know what I mean? Like he looks so cool. I'm like, this can't be me. Like he looks way cooler than I am. Like there's no way. Your guy, I
Looks
don't know, man. I don't know
nothing like
what
me,
you try
bro.
to do,
It
dude.
looks nothing like me. I tried so hard. Let's see if it'll show up on the camera. If for audio listeners, my guy has a very smooth face, very coiffed hair, and none of my bone structure. He's just
Nothing.
smooth like a fucking baby. Let's see. Can you
You
see it
can't
there?
add facial hair. You can't add facial hair to
Can
the
you
game,
guys
which
see
I
that? Oh
mean,
yeah, oh, there it
yeah,
is.
yeah, that's perfect. Look it up.
That's it. It looks nothing like me, bro. It looks nothing like me. That's my character. I
Oh
tried hard to
god,
make
you
it look
did,
like
you
me.
did, you did.
Um,
Um, yeah,
yeah.
man, go for it. Yeah,
Yeah, so
we got a lot
basically
to talk
the reviews are just pouring in for this game. Obviously, IGN gave it a 9 out of 10, Metacritic 85%, VGC A Games Radar 3.5 out of 5. Press start. No, they're students. They're students, Chaz. They can't. You can't add facial hair. They're
How old
little.
are they? Like, what is? Are they like high school students? Like, what is this?
They're like maybe 11, 12 to like high
That's
school
true.
age.
They're
So
all
like,
baby face.
yeah, they're all just not. They're just young. They're babies. And IGN basically said the world is packed with nearly everything I wanted in a Potter game. In nearly every way, Hogwarts Legacy is the Harry Potter RPG I always wanted to play. It's an open world adventure, captures all the excitement and wonder of the Wizarding World with memorable new characters, challenging and nuisance combat, and wonderfully executed Hogwarts student fantasy that kept me glued to my controller for dozens of hours. It's laid down by technical issues, lackluster main story, and some poor enemy variety, but overall, the game doesn't lose its charm. Fantastic game, and I will add to this. This is with the controversy that's happening with J.K. Rowling, that this game is still breaking records. So I don't want to talk too much about that, but I think that's pretty amazing. A game's able to do that, even when people are like, I don't agree with what X person said and all this stuff. So yeah, what do you think? What do you think so far of how the reviews are going, the controversy? Like real quick, you know.
Yeah, I do want to speak a little bit about the controversy because I think as gaming outlets as ourselves, I think it is somewhat important. We don't want to go into the politics of things a lot, right? We don't want to touch on like, political things, but when it comes to things that come into the gaming atmosphere, to come into the gaming world, I feel like even though we're not big or anything, but I feel like we do have some type of job to discuss that in some aspect, in some length, right? And so when it comes to this whole thing, I say, and this is my opinion, you can play whatever you want. You should not be judged by what you're playing, right?
100%.
Because at the end of the day, video games are for you to have fun and to enjoy, right? And so if people are bashing people and making fun of people and just straight up harassing people because you're playing a game like this, because the person behind the mother of the creation of this is a piece of shit and she just like has like really terrible views, you should not be bashing the people that are playing this game because of that, because that has nothing to do with them. The people that built this game, that the devs, right, Avalanche,
They're not
do
J.K.
not
Rowling.
support that. They are not
Yeah.
her,
No.
and so that kind of triggers me sometimes when I see that, because it is kind of really terrible to see people like really doing that. So that's why I say like be good to people. But anyways, aside from that, and I did post this on Twitter as well, what a game, man. Like again,
You're not a Harry Potter fan, and you're hooked.
I'm not a Harry Potter fan, dude. I don't play Harry Potter. I don't watch the movies. I don't read the books. And so I came into this thinking, okay, I'm not going to think of this as a Harry Potter game. I'm going to think of this as a cool, like really open world fantasy style, like really just like goblin type of like universe that I'm thinking about. Like I'm thinking of this as like a really cool experience, and I want to try it out. And it's hooked me, man. The first 15-20 minutes, I'm like, this is a really dope world. This is a really amazing atmosphere that I want to continue diving into. I want to build my character. I want to know what class I want to be. I want to see the interactions with characters. That scene in the beginning, Rob, caught me way off fucking guard. And I'm not going to spoil it, but
It's
I'm
wild.
like,
Yeah, you're like,
my
what?
ride.
Because you're
I'm
thinking
just
Harry, you're
enjoying
thinking
it.
the movies. You're thinking like, oh, Harry Potter, yeah, it's little kids, like whatever. No,
Yeah,
no.
apparently the books are violent. Is that what I'm getting at?
There's some parts that can get violent, but
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think you just had this thought of Harry Potter was just like very childish, and it was just like wizards and witches and they're throwing wands to each other, and it's like magic, and but realistically, it's a really deep lore and it's really awesome. It's a really great world to just dive into, and I'm happy that you're get to experience it in this form, your favorite form probably versus books and movies. So
if there's any way you're gonna get me into Harry Potter, it's probably this way.
yeah, I just want to say one last thing about this game and the what's surrounding it.
Yeah.
Is a lot of it has to do with social media, right? I think that's the crux of it. Is social media is the big one that's like people are attacking other people. Do you think of games back in the day, like Manhunt, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, right, where you could like light strippers on fire and stuff, like what? How it like you know what I'm saying? Like, and people didn't really talk about that like that back then, and over this, it's all social media. I think I honestly think it's all social media. If this game would have came out, 12 years ago, 10 years ago, however long it's been, I don't think a lot of this controversy would be that much of a thing. But because of the age we're in, I think that's why it's a big thing as it is, because people blow it out of proportion and let other people's views affect other people's views and then affect the game that's coming out, and it's just a whole fucking mess. So
the last thing I'll say about the controversy thing, the developers made a point to put transgender characters in this game.
They did.
That tells you a lot, right? That tells you that they are not. They go against what JK stands for.
And there was an article that even stated that people are still mad over it. Mm-hmm. Literally represented in the game, and they're still mad because of the name. And I'm like, right. okay.
You can't win.
Can't win. So
yeah. Anyways, yeah, I love this game so far. I'm gonna keep playing it. I'm gonna keep trying out, and I'll keep giving you my thoughts. As we keep playing and enjoying it, because
please.
I am very interested to see where it takes me. Again, I'm very early in the game, but from what I played so far, I am hooked, man. So we'll see.
All right, well, that ends our news. Just a couple of quick news here, little baby news just for you guys to get through your week. Legend of Zelda will be $70. We said that. The collector's edition will be available for $129.99 at your local retailers. It just popped up online at Best Buy not too long ago, but it was sold out. So just keep your eyes out if you do want that collector's edition. There's some pretty cool stuff in there. There's some pins in there, Kelv. You might be like that. There's some pins. Yeah. Don't forget, PSVR 2 is coming out February 22nd.
That's right.
Game Boy and Game Boy Advance emulation is now available on Nintendo Online and Expansion Online. And Metroid Prime Remaster is now on the Nintendo Shop for $40.
That's another game I gotta play. Jesus.
Yeah, that's another game, yeah. And that's it. And shout out to our Patreon Hopple. You're the man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kelv, let's end this with a nice in-game chat. And the in-game chat, it's about Nintendo, because we're talking about Nintendo. What IP should Nintendo bring back, and what was missing from the Direct?
What IP Nintendo should bring back?
Yeah, and chat, please chime along here. What's an IP that you guys really want to see?
I can't think of anything at the top of my head right now. Do you have anything right now that you would want them to? I guess I'll answer what was missing from this, right?
Yeah, start with that. So what was missing from the Direct that you want to see, and then maybe segue into something that you wanted to see and wanted to bring back. So heard Punch Out, by the way. Punch Out was a big
Punch Out.
Yeah, see that. Yeah,
for sure. I think what was missing, and again, this is just me talking to some other people on Twitter. I want to see a Star Fox game come back.
I was just gonna say that.
Specifically, Adventure 2. I wanted Adventures 2. That game really left the mark on me back when I was a kid, and not in like an emotional way or anything, but it was a fun game, right? And it really pushed boundaries back then in the GameCube era. Yeah. And so back when I guess in the GameCube era where things were really expanding and games were being a lot more open, that was like one of the games where I'm like, holy shit, like they're doing something crazy here. And so to see that game here in 2023, 2024, whenever it would have come out, Adventure 2 would be really cool to see. And just having Star Fox back in the eyes of Nintendo and the eyes of people would be really cool to see too, right? I want to see what they can do with the IP. I want to see what they things that they can change and just really bring that character back to life. So that's my thing. Star Fox Adventures 2, that would have been great to see here. That would have been a real big bombshell. Imagine if they did that back to back. They did Tears of the Kingdom and then they left
No,
off with
there's
that.
no way. They don't go
I
that
know,
crazy.
but imagine, dude. Fuck, dude. That would be
They
crazy.
don't go that crazy, bro. I wish they did, but they definitely don't. I mean, my answer is going to be the same. I think Star Fox is the big one that I think we missed just because that was huge in the 90s. Again, it made a little bit of a comeback on the GameCube. And then it got kind of quiet, after the Wii and into the Wii U. We didn't really see much about it. I mean, we know Metroid's making a comeback. Maybe they're just doing it in phases. Maybe they're like, okay, we're going to focus on Metroid this year, these next 2-3 years. After that's go through, we'll go through Star Fox. If you think about it, Kirby got a little bit of a treatment this past 2 years, compared to before. Remember, there was nothing about Kirby. Like last thing we see Kirby's like Air Ride, and now they pumped out a bunch of Kirby stuff. We sing a lot of Metroid stuff, so hopefully Star Fox will get his return.
I did see in the chat here someone said Earthbound.
Earthbound would be cool.
That would be really cool to see them come back with that. I mean, I've never played the Earthbound games, but maybe to have a real like reimagine and like remaster of that game and then have another one released, Earthbound 3 or Mother 3, I think is what everyone wants to play. That would be really cool to see.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Paper Mario came out not too long ago for was it a Switch game. So that like I said, they definitely do a good job of bringing back their IPs one way or another. It just takes them a little bit of time. If you think about it, Nintendo doesn't actually have a ton of IPs. They have a good quality IPs. Very, very, like, probably the best quality. But they don't have a ton. Think of, like, Warner Brothers. How many IPs they fucking have, right?
Dude.
Nintendo.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just going to say that, like, Nintendo does well with the small stable they actually do have. Like, I'll just read off, like, Nintendo, like, the major franchises. It's Animal Crossing, Fire Emblem, Kirby, Mario, and then all of the Mario stuff. So that's like Dr. Mario, Mario Golf, Mario Strikers, right? You have all that.
Right.
Yoshi, which is also included in that. Then you have Donkey Kong, that's almost included in Mario, like in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Wario, Metroid, Pikmin, all of the Pokemon, Splatoon, Star Fox, Super Smash Bros, Legend of Zelda, and like the Wii games and Xenoblade. That's the bulk of like what Nintendo has.
Yeah, they branch out a lot of their IPs, right? And that's why they have so many like branched out IPs. The thing with Nintendo is, again, like I said, Nintendo fans will buy Nintendo games as many times as they can. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's a remaster, it doesn't matter if it's a remake. They're just gonna continue buying it. Now, when it comes to their IP catalog, you're right. They don't have that many category or catalog of an IP, but they do have I forgot where I was going with this shit. They do have a bunch of games that kind of branch out a little bit, right? But they recently made ARMS, which was
that's
a new
one.
IP, right?
Yep.
Splatoon is a fairly new IP for them. So they do branch out in some ways. They just kind of stay close to their chest. They keep the good their babies like close to their chest, and then they release them here and there, you know. F-Zero, that's a good one,
yeah. F-Zero was a good. Ice Climber's a good one. There's a lot of good ones that they can bring back. One that was exclusively for the GameCube was Internal Darkness. Do you remember Internal Darkness?
No.
So this is like kind of like a cult classic of people that they really loved. But that would be, I think, a one that people would want to see is Internal Darkness. I'm gonna try and bring up a trailer here, and I think everyone's gonna enjoy that.
Yoshi T says Excite Bite. I don't know what that is either. Do you know what Excite Bite is?
Yeah, it's like a motocross game, but it's like 2D. Yeah. It's so let's see if I could pull this up so I could show you Internal Darkness. I think everyone's kind of in the dark about that, right? So I'll show you guys Internal Darkness.
Oh, such
You
a good.
hear it?
I love it.
So this is the game. Let's get through here a couple parts.
What is this?
So apparently you take control of 12 different characters and they all have like their own storyline, but it's like a hack and slash type of game like it is right now. But this is something that I think people would want to be brought back.
Why is the camera like weird?
I don't know. I have no idea. This is a weird GameCube game.
It's like angled. Maybe it's just.
So that's one perspective of someone, but we can move on here. Yeah, it is angled really weird, huh?
But it moves, it shifts, so.
So like you also play as a monk. So you play through all these 12 different characters and they all have like different storylines.
Yeah.
But it's also like kind of a creepy hack and slash game, which is really, really weird. Right? Like this almost reminds you like almost like a Resident Evil right here.
Yeah,
like this
you're
part.
right.
Yeah. So I think this is kind of one that like people would like to see because it was so weird and different. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like Octopath Traveler in a sense, right? Where you have the different people you could play through, but this was third person like hack and slash, which I think would be. Imagine that you had a game where it's like 12 people, you go through each of their storylines, and they all eventually connect at one point, which would be pretty sick, I think.
Yeah, that would be cool to see. To see what they can do now and new hardware, you know.
Yeah, so that would be my one. I think that would be a pretty cool one. But yeah, guys, I think that wraps it up for in-game chat. Like a little quick one. Anything else, Kel, before we leave the episode here?
Thank you guys for chatting with us. That was great. Our audio listeners, thank you for tuning in. We really do appreciate that. And yeah, just, you know, if you guys want to continue on with the conversation and stuff, definitely follow us on Discord. We are on Discord. We have a live community there. So if you guys are new to, you know, listening to us, we're the Gaming Duo podcast, obviously. And if you guys want to check us out, head over to Discord and you could just chat with us. We throw out a bunch of gaming news there and we just chat about it with the community there. And yeah, it's a blast. So
here I have the link here for the chat if you guys want to join. That is the chat to the Discord right there. All right. We are also on Twitch now. We're streaming the podcast on Twitch. So yes, more Yoshi. Definitely more Yoshi. We'll add more Yoshi next time. I got to get one of those. You should have got the Yoshi plushie from that Comic-Con over.
It was like $25. Let's be honest, dope, we're not gonna do that.
he was cute.
$25 for a plushie. They could suck it.
All right. Well, I mean, come on. I tried, man. I tried T Yoshi Sword, Matcha Koopas.
It was nice though. It was a black Yoshi. I was like, I want that. Especially how dirty they did black Yoshi on Super Smash Brothers. Like, yeah, I definitely should have gotten it.
Yeah, they got rid of them because they're racist. Exciting things are going to be coming up, guys. Stay tuned for some news. We'll probably be revealing them pretty soon. I will be on vacation, not next week, but the following week, and we'll have a special guest host. We're not going to reveal who the guest host is, but he's awesome. Just going to let you know that. So thank you to that special person. If you're listening, you are great.
Yes.
Guys, leave us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It literally takes you 2 seconds. Literally, you just click the little star and you hit 5. You don't have to write anything. You don't have to type anything. You just hit that, and that's it. It's easy. Do it.
But if you want to, by all means, give us a little, you know, synopsis of what you think about us because we want to hear from you guys. So if you want to write something, why not?
I think on Apple Podcasts you can. On Spotify you can't.
You just rate. That's
you
fair.
Just rate. Yeah. That's all. So we appreciate that. Chazzy. Yeah, surprise. It's you. We didn't tell you this. It's you. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening in and watching us, and we'll see you next week. All right.
All right. See you guys.
See you guys.